How many reuses does it take to offset the same carbon emissions as a disposable? Age-old question. Okay, so we get into a lot of math and a lot of analytics and data. And when we're evaluating things for brands, such as reusability, returnability, and things like that, there are so many factors that come into play. So this was a refillable solution that SCJ has out there. Mrs. Meyer's. And we decided to take the disposable and the refillable and just to run some LCA analysis. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this up front. We don't have every piece of data, and at some point, consumer behavior comes into play significantly on some of these things. There's a lot of factors. So we've made some assumptions, but it gives us a baseline. It gives us a starting point, right? When we talk about these refillable systems, there's a lot of things that come into play. The cost of one, the cost of the refills, the amount of work that goes into it, the frequency of use. But so much of it really comes down to consumer behavior. Does it make sense? Well, how many times are you going to use it? How many times do you need to use it to offset the costs and then ultimately to offset the environmental impacts of one versus the other? So we made some assumptions about PCR content in both of these, post-consumer recycled content. And we assumed about a 25% for this and about a 73% for the glass, based off of kind of industry standard. If those numbers are wildly different, then this information becomes wildly different. But we have to make some assumptions somewhere just to at least get a data starting point. So what's the answer? Well, in the data that we found, and this one was pretty complicated. So we partnered together with Trayak to really run this LCA and try and consider as many factors as we could. It gets really complicated, right? So when we look at these two things, we have to consider after we've made this initial purchase, and it's heavier, it's glass, it's more durable, which is a factor of reusable systems. Whether you're going to return them or refill them, they typically have to be more robust. The pump is a little bit heavier duty. It's a glass bottle. There's a lot of factors to it, but we have to consider that once I've done that, well, now I buy 2 bottles, and for one of these, there's 2 refills in here, and my logistics changes significantly because this is a lot more efficient to ship. There's just a lot of different things that come into play. So this is a complicated LCA and analysis to run. What's the answer? The answer is 7. I'm just going to come out and say it. 7. It was 7 uses of a refill system like this refill system. They're all a little different. 7 uses of this refill system to offset 7 bottles when it came to the different factors into the LCA. And you'll see the spider chart here on the screen. Why was it 7? What was the factor? Well, there were some components that actually offset pretty quickly. But to get this whole spider chart, the one in purple inside of the one in red, which is the red was the single use, and then the other one was the whole system, this initially and then these. All the different factors kind of had to come into play. And the one holdout that took us to 7 was the mineral resource use. And that was really because of the glass bottle and how it factored into this whole LCA analysis. I'm not going to get super deep into these factors, but I think this is a really important analysis to run. And I hope brands are doing this as they're trying to figure out, do we refill, reuse? As we've looked at certain ones where they're a refill model where you take a single use and you ship it back and you get it shipped, there's some of those that are like 25 times. And then you have to look at use frequency, right? Well, how often am I going through a bottle of cleaner? Maybe you're cleaning frequently and you're going through it once a month. Okay, well, 25 uses is still like 2-something years if it's once a month. if it's 3 months or 6 months, and it's going to take you 7, 10, 25 uses to offset, in some cases, we've run analyses where we're like 7 to 10 years of something, and will the brand change? Will the consumer break it, lose it, something else? Those are really important to figure out, because people often go, hey, well, let's just refill or reuse everything. And there is absolutely a case for that, and I wish we did it more. But there are times where it just doesn't make sense. If your only factor that you're looking at is landfill consumption, or, I don't believe in recycling, whatever, then some of these things are going to offset really quickly. But when we actually look at all the data and the figures and the energy usage and the mineral usage and these things, that things aren't always as clear cut. This was a really complicated one. They all really require a pretty good analysis. If this is something that you need help with, reach out. We'd love to help you as a brand work through this refill, reuse, kind of redesigning what that looks like for you. But thanks for watching Unpacked, and we will see you next time.